Minimum project time. We're going to create a vertex edge graph for each of these activities, calculate the minimum completion time, and state the critical path. And here we go. Let's just go ahead and get started. And by start, I mean, well, start. And start. Okay. Well, I've decided I'm going to start some project. I don't know what the project is. We're going to start building a bicycle. And when I build a bicycle, I am able to just pull everything out of the box and read the instructions. And it takes 3 hours to pull everything out of the box and 4 hours to read the instructions. Right? I'm making that up. But basically, I don't have to do anything first before I do A or B. So I can get started with A, I can get started with B. And when I say I can get started, I mean it takes 0 time. Now I know it's going to take 3 hours to do A, but we'll deal with that number in a minute. All right. I'm going to just keep reading down. I've put A on my chart and B on my chart. Let's keep going. I say chart. It's vertex edge graph. So let's see. In order to put a C down, I have to have A. Oh, well, lucky me. I already have A. So A leads to C, and C is on there. What about the 9? What about the 3 and the 4? We'll deal with it later, okay? I may have jumped the gun on those zeros. All right, in order to put a D, I need an A. Okay, well, then I'll put a D, and A leads to D. Now, I might be tempted to put a D over here and be like, well, C leads to D. No, no. In order to have D, I need A. All right, that's an ugly check. Oh, well, don't judge my checks. E needs B. Well, in order to put an E, I'll have to send him from B. Cool. In order to put an F, I need a D and an E. All right, so let's see. I have my D, I have my E, so I can put an F. D goes to F, E goes to F. F is on the board. In order to put a G, I need C. So we're going to put a G, and I needed C. In order to put an H, I need an F. So F goes to H. In order to put an I need an F. Okay, there we go. So F leads to I. In order to put a J, I need an H and an I, so I have J. And H and I lead to J. And anything left, everything's on the vertex edge graph, anything that remains is something that does not have anything that comes after it. So we will just go ahead and say that we are finished. So finish. And any activity represented by a vertex that does not have an arrow coming out of it points to the finish. Okay, time for numbers. Time for the numbers. It takes 3 hours to do A. So coming from A to C would take 3 hours and take 3 hours here as well. It doesn't mean you take 3 hours twice. That just means that in order to accomplish C, I'd have to get A done, which would take 3 hours. In order to get D done, it would take 3 hours to have gotten A done. And I do A once, but then I have a diverging path of options. That's what it really is. All right, B takes 4 hours. C takes 9. D takes 2. E takes 2. F takes 7. And I have a couple arrows coming out of 7. G takes 10. That's why the arrow's so long. H takes 8. I takes 8. And J takes 5. And it is time for us to switch colors. All right, we are going to go to every single vertex and count as we go and add them together, and we'll see what we get. So to get to A, it takes 0 hours. To get to B, it takes 0 hours. To get from A to C, it takes 0 plus 3 hours. To get from A to D, it takes 0 plus 3 hours. In order to get from B to E, it takes 0 plus 4 hours. Okay, and now we start getting some options. I'm going to start up here, and then we really get options down here. In order to get to G, it takes 3 plus 9 hours. That's 12. Okay, now in order to get to F, it either takes 5 hours or it takes 6 hours. Now, if you're like, oh, minimum time, and it's going to be the low one. No, actually pick the high one. Because every activity has to be done, and this is the way I always explain it. Hopefully it works. In order to get to F, I have to get all this done, and I have to get all this done. I have to. So it's at least going to take me this long. This is the longer one. This is the 6. But while I'm doing this activity, taking 6 hours, I can have someone else doing this 5-hour job while I'm doing the 6-hour job. And that way we're able to complete more things at the same time. This is how we map out things like building a house. So the plumbers and the electricians and the drywall people, and like everybody has their job and it takes a certain amount of time and we map the whole thing out. Okay, let's keep moving. I would love to just go 12 plus 10 is 22, but don't, because we have a couple arrows pointing to the finish. Because a couple arrows are pointing to the finish, I have to consider all my options. I have to consider 22 and whatever this is, and we haven't gotten there yet. So I have 13 going here, only arrow going into H. Only arrow going into I is, well, also 13. Okay, a couple arrows going into J. It's either 13 plus 8 or 13 plus 8. Well, that's all you got. So 21 either way. It doesn't matter. So in a minute, we might, yeah, we will. We're going to have a couple options for our actual path. All right, 21 plus 5 is 26 or 22. Pick the high one. It's 26. It takes us 26 hours to finish whatever it was we were working on, and I will highlight it backwards. So we're going to start at the finish, and we're going to see where the 26 come from. It came from here. Where'd the 21 come from? It actually came from either here or here. It does not matter. I'm going to just pick one. They're the same either way. I'm just going to pick the low road. So there we go. You're supposed to pick the high road, aren't you? Then I look at this 6 over the F. I'm like, where did the 6 come from? Oh, it came from E. And that came from B. And that came from starting. Now, if you want to, you could also have, like I said, you could have gone with the high road here. You could have done that. So either way is going to work. I'm going to list the answer that I have highlighted in orange. If your answer does not have an I, but instead has an H, and you go this way, that's totally okay. So here is the minimum path. I will start, and then I will do activity B, then E, then F, then either I or H, it doesn't matter, and then J, and then I'll be done. And it's going to take 26 hours to do that. And again, while I'm doing this, assuming I'm the fastest or whatever, it's my job. If I'm doing this, it's going to take 26 hours. Well, it's going to take 22 hours to do this up here. So while I'm doing this 26-hour job, somebody else is doing the 22-hour job, and we're able to finish. Okay? Otherwise, I'd have to do all this, and I'd do all this, and all this, and then it would take a lot longer. This is a more than one person job. All right, let's do this example here at the bottom. This one's going to be about the same length of time, but I will go faster. So we will start. And in order to start, well, we just need to know where to begin. And we begin at A because there's nothing that you need first. So start leads to A. B needs A. So A leads to B. C needs A. So A leads to C. I'm going much faster. A, B, and C are on there now. D needs B. E needs B. F needs C. G needs D and E. H needs F. I needs F, and J needs G and H. Okay, we have finished. We've put all of the activities on there. Now we'll slide this over here, and we will put the word finish. And every activity that does not have an arrow coming out of it is going to point to the finish. Okay, it takes 0 time to start. It takes 5 hours to do activity A. It takes 4 hours to do activity B. It takes 7 hours to do activity C, 8 to do D, 9 to do E, 3 to do F, there's a couple of those, 2 to do G, 6 to do H, 6 to do I, 5 to do J, and we are done making our vertex edge graph. All right. So here goes, switching colors. Let's just keep moving. To go from A to B, it takes 5, 0 plus 5. To go from B to D, it takes 5 plus 4. To go from D to G, it takes 17, or it takes this, and we haven't figured it out yet, so we have to back up and do that one. 5 plus 4 is 9. Oh, we picked the big one. 9 plus 9 or 9 plus 8. There's the bigger one. That's 18. 18 plus 2 is going to give me 20. Or I consider this, which I haven't done yet. So I'm going to have to back up. We have a little bit of work to do. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 plus 6 is 21. Or 20. Pick the high one. 12 plus 3, 15. 15 plus 6 is 21. Okay, we're going to the finish. In order to determine this one, I need to consider both options. I either have 26 or 21. It's 26. Let's use the orange highlighter. I like this orange highlighter. It's a good one. Where'd the 26 come from? Here. Where'd the 21 come from? Here. Where'd the 15 come from? Here. Where'd that 12 come from? Here. Where'd the 5 come from? Here. There we go. Final answer. I will start my activity by doing activity A, then C, then F, H, and J, and it's going to take me 26 hours. So the answer is 26 for both the first problem and the second problem.